Wow, I can't see anybody at all now.
I don't want to be recorded, but I'm here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've got you. I think I've got everybody not being recorded anyway, I hope. So let's see where we're going. Let's take a look at where we've been. We've kind of introduced those 4 hints, which are still and remain the foundation of the practice, and they are the beginning and the end of the middle of it. It's just that as one develops the practice, one deepens one's understanding of what each of those is about. So that's really what we're doing here, is trying to deepen that understanding of what each of those is about. What we're going to look at is elements of our experience as we practice with those. So this is not an alternative way of practicing with formless meditation. It's still using that, but we're going to practice with it slightly differently. And what we've concentrated on so far, or at least in the initial part, was about orientating ourselves by coming to the heart, letting go of our discursive and intrusive thoughts and feelings, and being able to be with them in a more comfortable and positive way. And that's a lifetime's work in itself and doesn't stop. We then looked at, okay, to explore our experience more deeply, then what sorts of things do we have to think about or understand maybe a bit better? One was how we use these kind of instructions and questions that we're going to be talking about in a bit. And the best way that I've come up with, I'm not sure anybody else has said this, if they probably have, I just don't know about it, is it is like dropping something into a still pool. You are not ferreting around in your mind to find an answer to a question. You're just letting it drop into the heart and see what happens. So it's as if in the meditation, the object of the meditation is our whole experience, the whole breadth, depth, width of our experience. Everything which is happening in that moment, including the arising of thoughts, emotions, and sensations. And now what we're going to play with a bit, and it is a kind of play, is bringing a specific aspect of that to the foreground of our attention without losing sight of the whole of it, just bringing this specific to the foreground of our attention and just seeing what we see. It's a matter of noticing. I mean, sometimes people call this analytical meditation. And it can be done in that way. It can be done in a quite heady way. But we're looking at it, exploring it in much more intuitive and immediate way, which is why we start to look at, well, what do we mean by direct experience? And what we'll be trying to do is look at particular aspects of our meditative experience without the overlay of a theory, a conclusion, an interpretation. Simply the observation of what happens. But rather than that observation being the whole of our experience of meditation as it has been so far, we'll be bringing it to particular aspects of it. And one brings to that a sort of sense of warm wonder, really. The word that Champagne uses a lot is wondering. Not wandering, though you might do that too, but wondering. A warm, wondering curiosity. What is this? what is here? What is it I actually experience? And we played with a little bit of this when we looked at our bodies in what Namkar did. Our actual experience of our bodies rather than our what we think is our experience of our bodies, which turn out to be often somewhat different. So that's the plan. We're going quite fast. And this doesn't stop Lama putting most of this in the Heart of Meditation book, which is supposed to be introductory. But actually we're going quite fast. So if some of this is challenging, don't be surprised and don't worry. I think from my perspective, kind of putting this together, what I'm trying to do is introduce us to this area of meditation, this more Vipassana style of meditation. So we get a feeling for it. But there may be times in your life where this just isn't the thing to do. And that's fine, you know. But what I'm hoping is that we can get far enough with it to get that sense of reorientation. And just as a bit of a plug, what I'm doing next Saturday in the day retreat for Bodhi Tree relates very strongly to this, because we're going to have a look at this in terms of mandalas, which is something we've talked about before. And I personally, I found that an extremely helpful way of exploring this stuff.
What time is the thing next Saturday?
It runs, it's a day retreat. It runs from 11 till 1 and 2:30 till 4:30. So, if you can get to some of it, that would be good. If you can get to all of it, that would be even better. I've done a bit of work with this recently with non-Buddhist groups, introducing the idea of mandala, and it kind of came off the back of that. And so I can expand it more, because I only had about an hour and a half with these groups, so we can expand it more and put in more time for meditation around it as well. And that's on the Bodhi Tree website under events. I sent links to it out to everybody, so you should all have the links to that. And some of you have signed up, I know. So let's, yeah, that's basically it. I'll stop recording now. Or pause.